Redevelopment Authority will now come to order on March the 23rd for 5 p.m. Call it to the roll call.
Adams.
Present.
Childs.
Present.
Kennard.
Present.
Warren. Warren is absent. She let me know she's out of town this week. Davis Yates.
Present.
Hudson. That's Mr. Hudson's.
With he called.
Okay, very good. Edwards. Clark. Hall.
Here,
And Chair, you have a quorum.
thank you. Review of minutes for February 23rd, 2023. We have a motion.
Motion to approve.
I second it.
The motion is second. Any questions about the minutes, concerns? Hearing none, roll call.
Kennard.
Minutes.
Minutes.
Minutes. Yes.
Davis Yates.
Yes.
Hall.
Here, yes.
Adams.
Yes.
Childs.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Communication.
Madam Chair, the update on Fresh Start Children's Plant Nursery is going to be held over until the next meeting so that lady can present us with her entire presentation and all the supporting material. That was at the request of Ms. Kennard.
Oh, good.
The second item is a technical advisor's contract. Members recall, we placed a request for qualifications and proposals. It was placed on the city's website. A number of entities were also contacted directly and invited to respond. We have received today, as of 4 o'clock, 2 responses. I have not opened them. They're still sealed up. My suggestion, Madam Chair and members, would be to consider reconvening the committee that developed the request for proposals and have them open these and evaluate them and begin the process of making a recommendation back to the full authority.
Who's on that committee?
It was Satana Warren, it was Michael Davis Yates, and it was also Alex Little.
Oh, good. Okay. Does that sound okay with the,
No,
all right, what you think?
because it's something that needs to happen ASAP.
Oh, that's-
So if we have to reappoint or reestablish some more members, that's what I suggest we do.
What's going to stop is going to be in the ASAP.
They're not here.
Oh, that's not going to happen today. They got to go over those. They have to go.
Thank
The
you.
end of March, April, May, June.
No,
Yes, ma'am.
They need to have that by they have to have time to go through them.
Yes, they will need time. I'm guessing that they will need all of the next month to go through these
Yes.
and come up with a recommendation. I don't know what their process will be. I will lend my support to them in that regard. They will probably bring in one, perhaps both of these entities to
Yes.
To interview.
respond to an
Yes.
interview.
Exactly. That's why I was saying,
Yeah, I see.
okay. But there's
So more might come.
a committee that was formed to actually go over those.
She just told us.
I know, I wasn't aware though.
Oh.
that Maybe that was a meeting that I missed.
I think so.
So when those come, they've been coming to you and not the city clerk?
No, they came to the city
Okay.
and they were just handed to me before this meeting.
Okay, so if more comes in, then Tiffany will know to just,
Well, they were due by 4 o'clock today. So if they came after 4 o'clock,
okay,
they could be thrown out unless you chose to allow them in.
okay.
So we only have
Whoa.
2.
Today was the last day?
Today was the last day at 4 o'clock.
Oh.
So we only have 2 to send to the committee.
Correct.
Okay. Any other questions? Anybody else have anything else they need to say on it?
I do. I have a concern with our Mr. Little, our director, plate being as full as it is. I would like to see those.
Yes, oh, yes, we should.
Yeah, I would like to see those documents, those applications and go over them myself as well.
Can we add Commissioner Adams to the committees?
No, I don't think anybody needs to be added. I think anybody on this board that wants to view and see them should be privy to.
Madam Chair, we have, as part of the request, we had we had asked for multiple hard copies as well as an electronic copy. I'm just hesitant to open these at this
Yeah.
particular time. I would
Yeah.
rather do that in the presence of the
Yes.
committee.
Yes.
And once they are opened, I'm sure the committee would have no reservation about distributing those to all the members. Is that okay?
What's the comments? That'll be it.
Okay.
One last item, Madam Chair, it's not on the agenda under communications, however, this is a late breaking issue. It's as of today. I just want to make you aware, and perhaps some of the folks that are here with us today, that a Senate bill came out of committee that offers some substantial changes to Act 381. It hasn't, it's not become law yet, but it looks like it's headed that direction. It's got a lot of support. And one of the significant changes that occurs if this moves forward is that an eligible expense will include a housing project.
All right.
And this is the text out of, you can't read it from there, but basically what it says is that a housing property, any property on which there's going to be housing development of some sort, and I caveat the some sort comment, that's mine, but a housing project could be eligible for tax increment financing, reimbursement of activities, which includes site preparation costs, all legal fees, design fees, and it even includes, at least in this committee version, the actual housing construction and housing assistance for occupants of those structures. This isn't really brownfield redevelopment, not to present you with my editorial, but they are shoehorning in this concept into a very successful brownfield tax increment financing program in order to provide incentives to folks who want to create workforce housing. So that came out today. It's not law, but I'll get it emailed out to all of you, and I'll have copies made for the two of you as well. You can take a look at that. More to come.
Thank you. It's an opportunity to spur more development in housing and in other things. Give us more of opportunity if they can put
Yes.
put them involved in the Brownfield. Okay.
But the key here is it doesn't have to be a brown site. It
Exactly.
doesn't have to be
Yeah.
contaminated, blighted, or
Right.
functionally obsolete.
But it doesn't have to be in our
It'll have to be included within a brownfield plan.
plan, yes. It's
Yes.
in our plan.
May I? Madam Chair. See, I already told you I'll be all over the place. I be sitting at these tables and stuff, fussing about this type of stuff, and it come into fruition because it's needed. And it's here, and I knew it was coming because the question that I asked you last month, Mark, about the property at Colfax that was supposed to be assessed. And I'm still in need of it. And there are a lot of other people, such as myself, as property owners that have several apartments or what have you, that have no help. And this right here opens the door, does it not?
Possibility.
Potentially. I haven't had the opportunity to really jump into this
Yeah,
with both
yeah,
feet, but
yeah.
it looks like it could have wide-ranging
Yeah.
applicability.
Two advisors.
Madam Chair, that brings us up to public comment.
Oh. This portion is open for public comments. Commissioner Henry, would you step to the podium and
Thank you.
state your comment?
A couple of weeks ago, I was on a website for Brownfield, and they talked of the technical things that they have for you. And one of them is a consultant, free. And I heard that, and I'm like, that's interesting. And so I don't know if you were aware of that, but that's what they offered to all brownfields. And I'll say that everything happens for a reason. You guys sitting on all that tax money for years after year after year, but and you never used it for what we really thought was for training or education. But now you're going to get an opportunity to create some housing. So I think that's a good thing. They're doing it in the state of Michigan, and would you say the Senate?
Senate, yes.
Yeah. So, but because we didn't do any training, we didn't do anything for the people out of this board, now's the time for you to do it. The state is allowing apprenticeship programs, all sorts of training, and the Brownfield can do the same thing. I went to convention after convention when I was on the board, and they told me the same thing, that you can do training and you can do something for the human infrastructure that's been missing in Benton Harbor. Human infrastructure, not the brick and mortar, but human. So I'm glad that we got different people and maybe different sites on, but keep the mind on the human infrastructure. Thank you.
Thank you. Mark?
Madam Chair, just to be clear, the training program that is being referred to is an EPA-funded activity. And we have sought to receive EPA funds for that purpose, and we've been unsuccessful thus far. We cannot use, just as a reminder, you cannot use your funds under Act 381 for training. It can only be used for the eligible activities that we talked about previously.
I want Ms. Adams to speak to that because she's been trying to get that. Speak to that, Ms.
And I
Adams.
have, and just to piggyback off of what the gentle lady has spoken for years,
Yes.
I've asked, could we at least do the infrastructure on some of these empty lots and work with planning and economic development to start building? This is a perfect opportunity before us. But I just hosted an event with a gentleman, EPA from Washington, and some others of Regional 5 and a couple other regions over at the Boys and Girls Club week before last. And I never heard the mention of anything in the form of consultant being free. But they were very aware of a lot of other things that are taking place. And these are grant writers. And they sought me out with intentions on helping us in any way that they could. And we need it. But I really can't speak to the fact of some of the things that the commissioner mentioned, because some things that may get by me, I don't get it all. Maybe she caught.
Madam Chair, I can speak to that issue. The program that's being referred to comes through the Kansas State University. It's a technical assistance program under EPA. And the city of Benton Harbor is currently benefiting from that program. You'll recall about 4 months ago, a woman sat here with Mr. Little. Her name was Beth Grigsby, and she was from that program. She has been working behind the scenes on brownfield issues across the city, with the emphasis, however, is on the Ox Creek corridor redevelopment. So I attended a meeting earlier this week with her and their consultant, as well as Mr. Little and Mr. Mitchell and many others, talking about their progress in that regard. So they are actually here, and we are tapping into that skill. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, now Mark just reminded me of some other things. There is some actual training, and not just with EPA, but the state with Eagle as well. And we're working on that with the lead program on environmental issues of contaminants, lead, mold, dust, and all of that with the lead housing program that's going on. And we're trying to, I guess, connect them with the school, with some of the older students, 17, 18-year-olds, that would be interested in that type of training and
So you're building
environmental.
coalitions to see where we can all work together to make it happen.
Exactly.
As far as the consultant goes, my thought on it is, and this is to the committee, and I would just give them my thoughts on it. We've got a lot that's getting ready to come off in the house. We've got money coming from we had the virus there's some money there that we can do a lot of things with. And, when we look for a consultant, we hope that he's on board because we want to be moved. And, I don't know how Mark's plate is. I don't know if he can give us a little extra time. I don't know. We'll see what these consultants bring. But, if you're working with the city, Mark's abreast of what's going on in the city. He's been here. He knows the groundwork. He knows our properties. He knows what we have done and what we need to do. So I don't know what he was trying to retire for. I don't know what he is now. But anyway, we look at a consultant, not just because he's got some credentials, but he needs whoever it is or she, whoever it is. We've been stagnant too long, and I'm like Commissioner Henry, I'm like Commissioner Adams. If we got an opportunity to move some things, we don't know yet about this, what's going on in Brownfield yet. This is just something that they're thinking about. It's not written in stone. But we've been working with Mr. Little, you've been working with, there's some housing that's coming through, that's getting ready to be developed. There's a lot on the plate right now that the city's got going. And so we want somebody that can just jump on board. I'll talk to the committee, just give them my sentence, because I know you know. You know what we look for.
Yeah.
Oh, Ms. Canard.
Yes. What I want to relate, and maybe those that might not know, my program will be 17 years old this year. This is our 17th growing season.
Mhm.
And what I'm trying to do now is bring young adults in. They can deal with the chemical of doing landscape plants, not the food part. That is separate from this altogether. The other is completely separate. That's why I had to wait a while to make sure that everything is in order for this next program that I have for the Fresh Start Children's Plant Nursery. And young adults, they will be more able to grasp the information that I will give them into reproducing a lot of the plants that we can get cuttings from. And I hope that somehow this will fit in to the part of teaching our children beautification, because that is going to be a strong part, I'm hoping. In Benton Harbor, they've got over $1 million worth of equipment that can clean up Benton Harbor. So I'm feeling that with new development and everything coming in, these plants will play a big part in beautifying. Also, there will be a part of it that plants that take up toxins from the soil, a study of that also. So that's why I want to make sure that I've got all my ducks in line, and I want to have the money to complete what I once worked in the school with, is the greenhouse that we have up. And it's partially, the structure is up, but it's got to be covered in all of the parts that take care of the inside of propagation of new plants. So I'm hoping that this will fit in, because I hear other places that has big names and everything, but this will be self-sustaining once we get one draw of help, because then the plants themselves can be sold to gardeners, people that are building new homes and other places. This will be a great avenue for children to learn how to operate a business of this sort.
Miss Adams
Yes, ma'am.
her mind has been on this for years. We went to a workshop, I think Miss Henry was there. And what you're talking about, we saw how it can fit together.
Mhm.
You have young people learning how to plant, learning how to grow their plants, culinaries,
You're right.
training to be culinaries. But you gotta get the right people. You gotta build
Of course.
coalitions.
That's right.
You gotta build coalitions and people that's willing to see your vision, because you're gonna need buildings, you're gonna need places to put them, you're gonna need a hot house, a
Well, we
greenhouse.
got the greenhouse already partially.
And so she's been trying to get this for young people to be young and then have a restaurant.
Years.
And so you can use their food or what they cook, and they can be in the restaurants. Because all this is excellent. It's still excellent, but you gotta build coalitions, you gotta put the pieces together to make it work. Brownfield just cannot do it all. So she's been trying to build these coalitions
But
for years.
The only thing that I was trying to
Yeah,
say
I
is
see your part.
that I'm trying to have the mindset
Right,
that our children becoming growers will
she's
be
got it, she's been working
a
on it.
great part of the training, and they can even work in other greenhouses once they
Yes.
finish the course
Yes,
or whatever, they'll have that knowledge.
absolutely,
And so that is very important to even beautifying our city.
absolutely. Okay. Thank you so much.
Yes.
That's all the, of course, the public comments. So anybody else have any public comments? If you have any public comments, step to the podium, state your name.
Thank you, not at this time.
Okay, thank you. Okay, public comments closed. Committee reports,
No reports, Madam Chair.
thank you, treasurer's report.
Madam Chair and members, financial reports are included within your packet. I'd like to direct you to page 7, please, which will be your balance sheet. At the top of page 7, you will note that you have roughly $384,500 in checking, and you have a little over, just under $512,000 in your local remediation revolving fund. That leaves a total cash of balance of about $897,000 presently. You have a check that I'm holding in my possession right now from the city of Benton Harbor for the winter tax disbursement of a little over $5,100. And that brings your total assets to almost $902,000. Very healthy. On the next page, page 8, you will see the income statement. The income statement shows a little over $229,000 in revenue for the year, which began back in on July 1st. I'm sorry, yeah, July 1st. And that's roughly 99% of what our projected revenue is. So we're right on target as far as our revenue is concerned. The expenses, your Plant Moran services, my services amount to a little less than $19,000 year to date. That's 12% under budget from what we had forecasted. So all in all, your revenues online, your expenses are under budget. Although we're showing a negative $47,000 net income for the year, once again, that reflects a lump sum payment that you made on the Market Street project of about $124,000. That was catch up. We had accumulated those funds and we wrote a check for that a few months ago. Otherwise, you'd be sitting in the positive by about $76,000, which would be right where we thought we would be. Any questions on the financial statements?
Question?
Does that include,
Any questions? You want to go? Okay.
does that include, what's on page 2 as well, or we haven't gotten to that yet? Are we coming back to that?
On page 2, it does not include that, no.
Okay. Then, by all means, carry on. Go ahead.
Do we need a motion to approve? I'm doing single.
Single.
Wait.
Well, we got a motion, you can ask your question.
Okay, motion to approve.
Second? You the second?
Second.
Now, second. Commissioner,
Fidelity Building site. That's still on. I didn't realize that was still, we're still capturing
We are
and
capturing, and
reimbursing.
the city of Benton Harbor. The city of Benton Harbor is the beneficiary on that. They are the ones that incurred the eligible expenses. So when we capture, we're turning around and we're writing a check back to the city.
I thought that is just like, not just a one-time deal, but we have been holding these funds for that development because they could not produce receipts. Am I right?
Madam Chair, I think you're confusing the Fidelity site with the Market Street site, the one I referred to. Market Street down in the Old Flats area, that's what we were accumulating and waiting for somebody to give us receipts for, which you finally received here several months back.
Okay, no. Past management. With past management. With past city management. We have new management now. This was past management. We have been holding on to those dollars that I've been watching, trying to find a way to get Manchester Bidwell Arts and Training Technology Center in here. And we held those dollars. And I guess Al Pashoka then, state representative, and Mr. Watson, somebody somewhere performed some receipts after all those years. And I requested to see those receipts. I never saw them, but those monies were released.
Okay, if we're still talking about Fidelity,
Fidelity
there
bill.
was a period of time early on where we were waiting for receipts. And yes, we finally did obtain those. And we started releasing funds and making payments, which we've been doing annually ever since. I can tell you that there were $255,992 in eligible expenses. And as of right now, there's only a balance remaining of $30,122.
Okay, and this right here, that's about to be released would less than even that.
It would, yes. But again, these funds have all been paid directly to the city of Benton Harbor.
Okay, but after this, they'll go directly to the city of Benton. I mean, the taxes that they pay will go directly to the city anyway, right?
No, because we capture more than what the city would get by themselves. So the city's actually getting more money than they would if it wasn't in this program. Because we're capturing not only the city's tax mills, but we're capturing the other taxing jurisdictions like the county, for example.
Okay.
So the county's getting more.
The county is getting more.
No, I'm sorry. The city's getting more
Okay.
because they're capturing the counties. I think your real question, if I'm reading you correctly, is where did that money go?
Exactly.
I can't tell you that. All I can say is you wrote a check, this entity wrote a check to the city for that purpose.
And it was it may have been 170 some thousand.
Well, to date, it's been over $220,000.
Yeah, but that one check, that one time was up there at 170 some thousand. Okay.
And
I
incidentally,
don't want to waste a lot of time on this, but I've been following the money, and I think that something is really wrong here. And I'm just not understanding it.
the city under this program has been the beneficiary of a little over $854,000 in reimbursements for this site as well as two others.
Do we capture the school's money and give
No.
it to the school? The school go straight to the school.
Most of your plans do not capture school tax.
Was that Commissioner Adams?
Yes, I'm fine.
I was just gonna mention that, the city manager is here. He can answer probably her question. Where is the money? Where is that money?
Well, if you can answer that, then not at this meeting. This is a Brownfield meeting, so. And, he's our city manager. And he can ask him that on Monday night. But we gave it to them. Now, what they do with it, that's on them. Okay.
But could I, personally ask the commissioner to make sure that he have that information for us on Monday?
Yeah, no. Okay, that's good.
I'll take it up with personnel, with finance.
Right.
Can I ask when will that check, work out to the city? What month or year?
We write checks to the city each time we make a disbursement to developers, which is twice per year. Before you, in your packet right now, you're going to be asked to authorize us to issue a check to the city for that site in the amount of, it's in your agenda, for the amount of $1,261.35.
Okay, now what site is that?
Fidelity,
Yeah.
City of Benton Harbor Fidelity.
When was the last time?
The last time would have been back, I think, in January, if I'm not mistaken.
Thanks.
Any other questions? Mr. North? You got a question?
I'll be saying
Next, we need to vote on. Got a motion on the floor.
I can answer your question, Madam Chair, directly. It was in January was when the last check was issued. And before that, it would have been April of 22. And before that, it would have been January of 22, and then goes on and on and on. Question? This is for the financial reports. We have a motion by Adams, support by Kennard. Childs,
Yes.
Davis Yates,
Yes.
Hull,
Yes.
Adams,
Yes.
Kennard,
Yes.
motion carries.
You didn't get.
Oh, sorry, Mr. Clark. Clark,
Yes.
I looked around. I knew that somebody came in. I knew you were here. I just forgot that you just walked in. We have a payables listing that's included within your packet also, Madam Chair and members. It's provided as page 9. That payables listing, we have your February advisory services, your February accounting services, and the legal review for the reimbursement agreement that was authorized last month. That brings a total of $4,388.15. We're looking for your approval of that amount at this particular time, but you'll see on that payables listing all of the disbursements included that we're going to be seeking your approval of later in this meeting. This format was one that was requested by your treasurer, Satana Warren, many, many months ago. And so we've continued to utilize this each time you make a disbursement, so that when those people who are signing the checks are signing them, they can actually look at this table as they're signing the checks to make sure that everything's been approved.
The
We-
motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Second.
Okay, now. You said Commissioner.
What type of agreement do we have with Renaissance? Isn't that on the other end of the golf course? It's not, okay. Okay, then I was just mistaken as to where is it?
That is a fund that owns or participates in a number of properties. And one of them that they participate in is the one located on Main Street that Cornerstone Alliance is located in. That building is in your Brownfield site, and they have a reimbursement agreement with you.
Really?
Yes.
Ask about it.
Cause I don't.
It's shady.
Excuse me.
I understand.
Okay, you don't have to. Cornerstone name mentioned and you in my ear. That's problematic.
You know what?
No, just hold on.
I don't have time for
No,
this.
no.
Well, get on, go on then.
And then you just distracted me from my question.
Just like your questions distract us from business, so.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna ask you,
Okay, let's not. Go
Don't
ahead.
come to me, I'm gonna cut into you, I can't help it.
please,
I'm from
Not
there.
long.
didn't I have the floor?
Yes, you have to go.
Then where you come from? Where your voice even come from in my
Miss
ear?
Adams, go do your business.
I need documentation on this from beginning to now. And I'll just leave it at that. Also, it's unfortunate that our economic development director isn't here. Because the Liberty Dialysis
Mhm.
property that once again was a big fuss when it came up, because I knew that there were some mitigated pieces of property that were traded out from Harbor Shores. And that property happened to be one, and Mr. Little has found out something in regards to that trade out. And I just want to know what's going on with it, Mark, if you can give us some type of update.
I am
That has to do with the city, doesn't it? Yeah,
Hey, this right here is problematic.
What do you mean? He said something?
No,
Now, what I'm saying to you, Ms. Adams, is
God.
that she needs that information. How can she get that information?
City manager.
Madam,
Yeah, city manager. Let's do, city manager.
I've asked for years, our city assessor, if we could actually get a listing of all of the mitigated pieces of property that's been traded out, that's been traded out,
Go ahead.
that's been traded out. You need to be in my
No,
mouth,
you talk-
since you
turn
need to
around,
be in
baby.
my mouth
Turn around.
instead of paying
You
attention
turn
that
around.
way.
Sit here, sit
What
here,
is this person's
sit
problem?
here. Yeah, why?
Like, I'm sorry, but I can't be a part of a board that can't even
Yes.
have a forum. Like, what's your
Yeah,
problem? You got a problem. You got a problem.
you cannot.
We
you
need to
cannot-
go
Your
back
problem-
over our
your problem why the
bylaws.
city is backwards.
We
I'm
need
sorry.
to go back over our bylaws, and he knows that it's.
We don't need to go over it because fuck it, I'm out. Bye.
Ooh.
You know what? I don't need to be
It's-
disrespected.
that's
I don't
exactly
need to be disrespected, period.
Yeah.
So bye. I don't need to.
Yeah, you should.
It was about to come, it was about to come to an end. No, I was talking, I had the floor. You play the camera back and take a look so you can see yourself. And it was almost like hell, I had to look to see if he had a gun or something.
What is it?
That attitude that just left out of here
Uh-huh.
is exactly why I needed him to just move or just be
Well,
quiet, don't
I
talk
mean,
to
he's
me.
a member of this board just like you are.
Exactly, but I was talking, I had the floor.
So
The
what-
moment I mentioned Cornerstone, this young man knows that from the very beginning, I questioned him being a city of Benton Harbor resident. Because if he's not, we can allow anybody from St. Joe anywhere to come in here and just take this board over. And we need to fix it.
It's 9 of
He
us.
knew that it was a problem for me with somebody sitting on this
Point of
board
order.
that was
Just a
not.
moment, just a
And
moment.
we
No,
just
no,
need
No,
to leave
no,
it alone.
Wait a minute, no, if you got a problem, maybe we're gonna clear this up. If you got a problem with somebody that's out of order, that's on this board, you take it to the legislative committee and to your commissioners that appointed him.
But there wasn't a problem. I just let it go. But today, in the midst of me addressing our consultant with a question, in the moment Cornerstone name came up, this young man was in my ear and fire in his eyes.
But everybody's got a right to speak on this board.
But I had the floor.
Yeah, I know.
And you're covering for that?
No, I'm not covering.
Okay, that's what I hear.
But I'm saying.
Point of order.
No, you in the audience. But we have to get this cleared up. 'Cause
You
we
wanna
have
put
a
some
board
order
that
in it,
that
then.
has to work here. And that's why nothing can get done. This board works. We didn't come here for no
Miss-
form or fashion and for no. problem.
Exactly,
So.
exactly. And I've sit down here.
And if there's a problem with the board member, or you think there's something going on, you take that to the committee.
You take it to the chair
You take it to the committee and that appointed him because
and you're
I.
supposed to handle it.
You take it to the committee that appointed him, and then take it to your city, your mayor. And say, there's a problem from Cornerstone, you think there's interference, you think there's.
Wait a minute. The young man said that he didn't work.
Point of order.
The young man,
Call some order.
so, Chairwoman Hall, the young man stated to me several weeks ago or so, or the last meeting, that he didn't work for Cornerstone any longer. And that may be the case, I don't know. It's none of my business.
That's right.
But for me to be addressing our consultant, once again, asking him a question about something that I have every right to ask a question about and receive whatever documentation I am requesting, for him to be in my ear the moment Cornerstone name comes up.
Okay, all right, we'll get to it.
Thank you, Chair.
All right,
Jeez.
thank you. Now you can finish.
I know how to conduct myself,
Yeah.
but I will not be bullied
Point of order.
or harassed in any manner.
Go ahead and finish.
Well, now we have Mr. Little here. That was quick, right on time.
I apologize for being late.
No, you're right on time. Because we were just, I was just asking a question in regards to the mitigated piece of property that the dialysis center sits on, and if you could give us an update, please.
Well, at this point, we have communicated with the state regarding that property and how we might resolve the issue. Because as long as it's continuing to sit out there, it prevents us being able to access some of the monies available through DNR, grants and so forth. So, we are moving as rapid as we can to try to get a resolution.
Is that because it is a mitigated piece of property?
Because, and it's considered a conversion, because in essence, it was agreed to as a part of the Harbor Shores development
Exactly.
to,
Exactly. Now-
mitigate some of what they allowed out there for this, and then it got used and it wasn't
Okay.
supposed to be.
Okay, I
So
appreciate
we're
that.
working.
I remember our then mayor and me, we had some transfers
Right.
of words going back and
Going back.
forth about it. Because I didn't know that it was no longer one at all out on Hollywood Road. That's it. I didn't know that, but the information and the education that Mr. Little just gave us, how many of you others knew that? Because I didn't. I knew a little of it,
We had,
okay, but now we know.
But we're
And those
pushing-
are the type of questions that I was just asking before the eruption left the room.
Yeah, we're pushing it as hard as we can. and,
Okay.
We're asking them for some relief because that transaction took place during the period of Joe Harris, the
Absolutely.
emergency manager. And in essence, indirectly, the state had a hand in it. So
Mhm.
we're looking to get a resolution.
Okay. Okay, good deal, thank you. Thank you, sir. Okay, Mark, but
we got
that,
a motion on the
that
floor.
Renaissance development, I'd really like some history from beginning to end on that
I
one.
will email you a copy of the reimbursement agreement.
Okay, I appreciate that.
That's what we got right here.
Yeah, what we, what we discussed.
Okay.
Mark, so the Renaissance Development Fund is another entity of Cornerstones?
Yes.
That's all.
Oh,
I'd like to ask,
they going to jail.
I know that I signed checks, but there seems some checks that my signature is not on. I want to know, am I supposed to have my signature and know the documentation of, have the documentation of every check that goes out? Am I
There,
supposed, any money that is dispersed from Brownfield, do my signature go on that as well as so?
not necessarily. We have 3 signatories. And we do that because 2 signatures are required on every check. Sometimes you're not here, sometimes Satana Warren may not here, sometimes it's a check and balance. Sometimes I ask you to sign them, sometimes I ask Satana to sign them, and sometimes I ask Ms. Hall to sign them. Today, Satana's not here, so I've only got you 2. You 2 will have to sign the checks today. But short answer is you don't necessarily sign all checks, but 2 people do. The two of the 3 that are authorized.
Okay. I just want to be sure because I do know that you have come to me and I was just wondering, you have 2 persons, or like you said, you got 3 or 4 people that are signatures, 3? Okay, but I just wanted to sort of know what's going on, each check that's being signed, get some kind of follow-up on it. What are we signing?
Madam Chair, today, assuming that you approve this payables listing, I will hand you, and the disbursements that we're going to talk about, I will hand you a stack of checks that will coincide exactly with this payables request that's in your packet. So you will know exactly what you're signing and that it was just approved.
That's all he's on page 9.
Correct.
Motion on the floor.
So, I'm sorry, we have a motion by Adams, support by Kennard to approve the payables listing.
Support.
No, sir.
Oh,
You give me
I will call your name first, Mr. Clark.
yes.
Hull,
Yeah.
Adams,
Yes.
Childs,
Yes.
Kennard,
Yes.
motion carries. Thank you.
business?
Madam Chair, and members, under old business, we have an update and a request for authorization. At the last meeting, you were given a request from Prairie Real Estate Group to enter into a reimbursement agreement involving their properties located within the 12th and Main project site, that component of your Brownfield plan. And I'm going to place a picture on the screen that shows you what that area is. The parcels that are all outlined in yellow are the parcels that are included within that plan, that chapter of your overall Brownfield plan. Of those parcels, and I believe that there's 13 of them there, all but 2 of them are owned by Prairie entities, entities that are controlled or owned by Prairie Real Estate. And that may not be exactly correct, but basically Prairie has control over all of those properties except for 2. The 2 that are not under the control of Prairie are located right here and right here. Those are, one is owned by the city, and at least I believe that it's still owned by the city. And this one is owned by Mr. Meeks.
There's one more.
I'm sorry.
AEP.
And AEP, I'm sorry, AEP, the
Oh,
lion in
that side
the
of the road.
elephant in the room. AEP is this one located right up here, this big one. The development agreement, reimbursement agreement that's been entered into is the same format that you approved at your last meeting, with one exception. And that is that Prairie will only receive reimbursement based on the taxable investment that they make in their properties. So if they make taxable investment on any one of the properties that they own that I've just shown you, they will stand to get reimbursement for eligible expenses that they may have incurred. And eligible expenses will be things such as the environmental assessments that have been performed already. It could be the baseline environmental assessments that have been written, or it could be the demolition or any other eligible expense associated with possibly removing some of those buildings. They do not get reimbursed if they don't make any taxable investment. They also do not get reimbursed if Mr. Meeks makes taxable investment, or if the city chooses to sell their property and they make taxable investment, or AEP makes taxable investment. They don't get reimbursed from that. They only get reimbursed from what they do. Likewise, the agreement that's been drafted says that those persons, those parties, AEP, Mr. Meeks, and or the city, can only come to you and look for reimbursement for taxable investment that they make in their properties. They can't benefit from what Prairie does, if you follow me. And I think that this is a very good process and policy, for lack of a better term, for you to adopt. And it's not unlike anything that you've done in the past. You've always said that you're going to help the developer who's prepared to make taxable investment in the land. They've got to do something in order to get a benefit. And in this case, Prairie is looking for the opportunity to get a benefit from what they do on that property. If they don't do anything, they don't get any benefit.
One of the things,
Okay,
one of the things I wanted to ask, when they enter into an agreement, they have to already have a plan for each property, don't they? Wasn't that in our layout as the person that will qualify for?
These properties, again, are already in your plan, and they've been qualified because they are either known to be contaminated. Well, in this case, they were all known to be contaminated and or contiguous with contaminated property. So they already qualify. The proposed redevelopment of those sites is not something that needs to be in a brownfield plan. Taxable investment needs to occur in order for anyone to get reimbursed in a brownfield plan. And that's the safety valve here, is that Prairie can't receive any reimbursement if they don't make any taxable investment. Does that answer your question?
Yes, well, say for instance, if he were to, get it all cleaned up and everything, the property is vacant there, and he chooses to sell it to another developer, is that taxable?
If he chooses to sell it to another developer. I believe that the requirement we have in here says that he can't receive a benefit from that. You recall that off the top of your head?
Yeah, no, there is the ability to sell and transfer, absolutely.
Transfer, yeah.
The benefit doesn't go to a new developer. It stays with us who have made the investment.
That's correct.
Right.
That's correct.
For whatever the developer made. Okay,
They can only benefit from what they make an investment in.
okay. Chair.
That's fine. Are you thinking? Are you thinking?
Yeah, I'm good. Okay, thank you. What happened to the?
Yeah. Charles? Charles?
Mary Alice said.
Let him, he's next.
Miguel can go, I can wait.
I had two questions. What's the address for the new location and the city location?
Meeks.
271 West Market is Meeks.
271 what?
271
West Market.
West Market.
City, I don't have off the top of my head.
Meeks is 271 Market,
Yes.
Yes.
and
AUP is 300 West Main.
300 West Main is the first one. We've got it listed as I&M,
Same thing.
and I do not have the city listed on there. I think that answers your question.
You don't have the city on
I don't have the cities listed on there, no, because there's no tax being paid.
there? Okay, but what the address?
Probably just a number.
I don't have it. It's a vacant piece of property.
Oh, okay, that's it, okay.
It's on the corner of 9th and Market.
Right there on
It is
side of
the
Meeks.
northwest corner of 9th and Market.
That long piece of property.
Yeah, it's vacant. It's just a grassy lawn.
Just, if it's
That
a
there.
piece that I'm thinking it is, it also is a mitigation.
Mitigated piece of property.
It's that one right there,
Mark's
Mr.
on
Clark.
it now.
Oh,
What did you
okay,
say
yeah,
was
yeah.
mitigated? That's the
Yeah.
mitigated property
Is that
right
the
there?
one right across from the,
Harbor
state
Town.
building down there?
Harbor Town, Harbor Houses.
Oh, okay.
It's right there.
This one right here.
And you only have one property, Pete? 300 Main Street?
No, we have all of them besides
Okay.
that city property, Meeks and AAP.
How many properties you have there?
And
So,
there's-
Madam Chair, just to finish up, that agreement was included within your packet. There's one exception that I want to point out, and that is the version that's in your packet does not include this particular paragraph, which I just summarized. And it says it's the intent of the authority and the understanding of the owner, which in this case is Prairie, that the source and use of tax increment revenues will be owner specific. That is, the owner, Prairie, shall only benefit from taxable investment made on the property, his property. The property is defined as his property. Likewise, owners of other property parcels included within the plan, like Meeks, for example, or AEP, shall only benefit from taxable investment made on the properties they own
Okay.
and not on anything that Prairie owns.
So
New verbiage?
Yes, ma'am.
this is not on our document, is it? The
No,
document before us?
correct.
Okay, see, and that's exactly why I requested that information before the eruption took place. Is because I have this document and it may be the only one I carry with me, not knowing that that exists. So we will get a copy of that. You'll email that out to us.
Yes, ma'am, I will.
appreciate that. But can you go back to the,
The
go
picture?
back to the properties? Okay, so we're somewhere else. And I thought that last month we were talking about Main Street
We were. Last month, we
Okay,
were
but you-
talking about properties that are located,
by the bank.
that are
And,
located by the bank that are falling in.
and that one food place in
Right.
between there.
Yes,
Happy Poochie?
Okay, so we're talking about how many properties altogether?
third,
Would you like to know?
I think there's 13.
There's-
Well,
13.
yeah, things are starting to change.
Okay,
So last reimbursement agreement, we were talking about one sizable piece of property.
okay.
That's a
Nine.
separate reimbursement agreement. In this particular reimbursement agreement, we were talking about 9 PIN numbers, but effectively 10 buildings.
I don't know about all that, okay, I don't.
And those are all identified by the tax number
Okay,
on,
okay.
on the last page of your package,
Okay, gotcha. Okay. Last page?
very last
Okay,
page.
gotcha. Okay, okay. So, okay, go ahead, carry on. I was just, you lost me when you was over on like Meeks, and I thought we were talking, okay.
You have finished?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, Pastor Child,
They only get reimbursed when they receive taxes on those properties.
When they cause the tax to go up as a result of the investments they've made.
and when they show receipts out there, that's
Correct.
how much they get. Is that it?
So what we're looking for, if you're comfortable, and I don't want you to feel this is not a time-sensitive issue necessarily, but if you are comfortable in proceeding, we'd be looking for your authorization to enable the chair and the treasurer to sign this agreement as it's modified, as I reflected up there on the screen. If not, we can bring it back next month, whichever you prefer.
I make a motion to move forward with the development agreement.
I need a second. We need a second.
Just say move forward.
Second.
Motion's been second. Roll call.
Kennard,
I'm not sure.
Cass, we'll come back to you. Clark,
Yes.
Hull,
Yes.
Adams,
Yes,
Childs,
Yes.
Ms. Kennard.
yes.
Motion carries.
May I, Madam Chair? I'm not sure how many people actually saw it, but the young lady and her husband of the African Center over on Broadway, they did an interview and it was so
Brown.
wonderful. And on a website that I saw, it's this big old city with all these big old tall buildings, and it looks nothing like that in that little bitty city. But I heard them say something about our children and what they visualize. I don't think that we'll ever in Benton Harbor have big old skyscrapers like that, and I don't think we need them either. But for us to clean up the land and get it prepared for reuse, that could be any of our children that may get lucky enough to gain some money to come along and build something, make an investment. But for it to be cleaned up and have that way paved already, that's what this board is supposed to do. That's what it was put together for. And I just think we need to keep that in mind.
Absolutely. Thank you.
New business?
Yes, motion passed.
Madam Chair and members, under new business, we have the winter 2023 tax disbursement. We received a check from the city's finance director. I'm holding it right here for $5,148.41. That check reflects a deduction of a little over $8,800 that was taken to correct a situation involving the building that is located at the corner of Colfax and Main that's going to be occupied or operated rather as a community medical center and community center in general. That property is no longer subject to taxes because they don't pay taxes. So the county had inadvertently captured the tax revenue from that and had given it to us back in the summer of 2020, end of 2022. And when they realized their error, they had to take that money back. So that's why this adjustment was made. What we're looking for today is your authorization to disperse $4,290.35 pursuant to the the disbursement schedule that's included on the second to last page of your packet. Those are all entities with whom this authority has reimbursement agreements in place with, and/or the city itself.
Let's see.
Well, we don't get any. of
Now
that
I'm
information.
confused, Madam Chair.
No transparency there.
Yeah,
I'm confused.
go over that, make sure you say that again.
Okay,
You would have to go all the way back and describe that piece of property at Colfax and what?
Colfax and Maine. I was trying to explain the $8,000 adjustment.
Right. It's not the Veteran Center Health Building, is it?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so you were saying that it's no longer taxable, and they had paid their taxes to the county, and well, we paid those taxes to the county, and now they reimbursed them back to us, and we have to release them again.
The county inadvertently collected those taxes.
Right.
And then the entity came into the city and said, we don't need to pay those taxes. We are an exempt entity. So the city in effect had to give those monies back.
Okay,
So we have to give those monies back. And the way the city finance director chose to do that is take that $8,000 out of this disbursement that we were receiving from Winter.
right. So why are these others included?
I'm not sure what you mean.
These other entities?
These entities are the entities that we have agreements with that need to get reimbursed from the monies that were received.
Oh, okay. Oh, those were last year's
Correct.
taxes. Okay, gotcha.
That exempt of that property on Colfax, I mean, they exempt from the state.
Yes, they are.
They're exempt from the state. These other properties are not exempt.
Correct. They're not.
So that means they're not even open yet. So how, that's okay.
It's an ownership issue, not when they
Yeah.
open.
Yeah.
Fair exchange,
Okay.
fair exchange.
What do we do?
We're looking for your authorization to make these disbursements as indicated here, $4,290.35.
We need a motion.
This request does not.
To capture taxes that we were not eligible, and we gotta give them back.
Okay, so there's 229.16 in other captured funds that are being held in reserve pending receipt. Okay, we're on that now?
We're looking for authorization to disperse only what we've indicated here, $4,290.35.
Motion to,
Yes. We need a second.
Second.
Thank you.
Motion by Adams, support by Clark.
And are there any other concerns, discussions, questions? Have any questions? We clear? Questions? Hearing none? Roll call.
Childs,
Yes.
Kennard,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Hull,
Yes,
Adams.
yes.
Motion carries.
thank you.
Madam Chair and members, the last item under new business is local remediation revolving fund deposits. Once again, we'd like to keep a paper trail of where your money goes. And at the express request of member Ms. Kennard, we'd like your authorization to deposit $858.06 into your local remediation revolving fund. Looking for a motion to do so.
Motion to
Yes.
deposit.
Need a second?
I say.
Motion and second. Any questions on depositing $800?
858
$858.
06
$858.06
to the penny.
to the penny.
To the penny.
That's what we do.
That's what the bean counter
That's
taught
what we
us.
do.
Okay, Mr. Knight.
This $800 and some dollars is being deposited, but did I understand you to say that it's gonna be taken back out?
No,
So it's not,
they've already taken their deduction. This is going into your account.
okay.
Any other questions? Hearing none, roll call.
Hull,
Yes.
Adams,
Yes.
Childs,
Yes.
Kennard,
Yes.
Clark.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you, Madam Chair. That completes our new business.
Thank you. Members' comments? Do you have any comments? I'm gonna start with, Pascal. You have any
Well,
comments?
I'm glad to be back. I was out 2 meetings. I was sick, so I'm trying to get caught up here. With the information that we got, we have a golden opportunity to really have an impact with the amount of monies that are coming into the city. So we have to be alert and be aware of how to do it and do it in the right way.
Based upon what he said and with, Mr. Little, if you sometimes, not now, when you come to our next meeting, just give us a brief, and not just coming to Brownfield, but all the things that's coming in that you're working on. That's gonna have a full impact that we are involved in and can be involved in, to spur development for the city.
Be very happy.
Yeah, because there's a lot going on. It's a lot going on. Okay, thank you.
If I might,
Thank you.
if I might, one item that you should be, Brownfield should be hearing from soon, Project T. They've identified there could be some issues that may require them to contact and try to work with our Brownfield Authority on
It should
doing
be, it should be on the
some
county.
remediation.
It should be on the county.
Well,
It should be on the county in their Brownfield.
They can certainly go to the county, and I just didn't know if that was something that you might prefer. I thought you might want it.
They were in possession of the property.
well, the city will work it out.
I'll get with some
Yeah,
part of it.
Yeah, work it out.
Because if it's not advantageous to us. we
Yeah,
should go.
absolutely. Make sure that it's,
I got a question. for
okay,
you.
now. Your comments?
I want to thank you for that question, because I think it's very important moving forward that we know how we can collectively work together
Yes,
to make things work
absolutely,
for us all.
absolutely.
I keep thinking back, every time I think about the Brownfield, think about this event that we hosted at the Boys and Girls Club with all of these employees that actually work for EPA and EGLE at the Boys and Girls Club. And they actually left and talked about a curriculum that's available for school-age children that's free. And it's downloadable, and they actually left some of the documents and some of the books and stuff. And one of the programs was, Why is Cocoa Green? Or something like that. Anyway, the teacher was so glad to get this information for her babies, and just teaching them about their environment early, as early as possible. And that's my desire. I was on a call this morning with All About Water, and we have the Flint Lab, people of Detroit, Wisdom Institute, a whole lot of organizations on these calls, and they talk about this type of stuff, our climate, and the different things and funding that's becoming available. And to have somebody savvy enough to apply for these funds is very important when it comes to Project T and other projects that we try to seek to redevelop in our prospective community. It's a lot, and I'm excited about what's coming. Yeah, and I want to thank you, Mark, and I'm looking forward to taking a look at those consultant applications that came in. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Commissioner Clark?
I just want to apologize for being late. I had a little car problems, but taken care of. Also, if we had a meeting to possibly we get that notice like on that Monday that we had a meeting like some days in advance, or maybe a week before, like how soon? If I remember right, last time I don't think even I was here when we voted to have a meeting if needed. So like I like to know a little advance early to know if when we have a meeting before I can adjust my work schedule and all that.
Well, it's every fourth,
So we back there for it.
we'll never stop. But if there's nothing, then he would put it on your phone that we're not gonna have. But as long as there's nothing on your phone, then it's a new.
Okay.
Madam Chair, I think he was confused by those
Yeah.
winter months that
Yes,
yeah.
Those are automatic, November, December. Those are out.
Okay, so
Those are out, those are all.
For last year anyway.
Yeah, we don't have meetings on November, December because it's Thursday, for Thanksgiving. And usually Christmas falls somewhere in there.
all right, I think I came on board in May.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, that's right. Any other things? Any other?
Oh, that's okay.
It's good now?
Yes. I'd like to ask Mark, how many times have I been absent since I've been on this board?
I'll tell you.
No.
I'll tell you. You want to know?
Yes, I want to know.
That sounds like a challenge.
Yeah.
Sounds like a challenge.
I should have asked
You want me to put it up on the screen for everybody?
in the
How
last
long you been
23
on the
years.
board? A year?
I've been there about 2 years, I think.
When did you come aboard? Yeah, I don't think you've missed any meetings.
Attendance record.
23 years. How many have I missed?
None.
Yes, one.
Here we go. Look at there. Kennard has been absent one time back in February of 2021.
When did you come on
Wow.
board? When did you come on board?
Faithful and loyal.
Actually, let me. Oh, I see. I spoke too soon. Two times. The first time was in July of 2020, and then in February of 2021. I think you had your accident about that, if I'm not mistaken. But then you've been a straight A student ever since. There it is.
Straight A.
Well, I said that is to let
When
everyone
did you
know.
come on? When did you?
I don't recall, Madam
20,
Chair. I don't.
21, okay, go ahead.
I want everyone to know. I come here and I make effort to be here because I'm serious about what I do. I've gained a lot of years behind me, so I've got none to waste.
Okay.
So I'm serious about what I do. When I ask questions about things, I'm not saying that asking questions to be argumentative. So I don't want you all to think that I'm bringing up your case, but I want to be clear in what we do and the questions we should ask. I should be clear as to what I'm asking about if it goes for everyone when I ask the question, because sometimes you get misinformed about something. So that's why I wanted to be clear. I said that too also is that some of the residents that have put their time, energy, and done everything that they know right here in this city. And I tried to do everything that I know that that's right. And I bring up my project with my children, I get less power behind it, or those that want to, push to see that this happens for our children. It's not for me. I've never got paid for one day as work. And so I know that others can come in, not Benton Harbor born or as resident of here, which I'm not, but I've been here at least 50 years. I think that I want you to find every consideration that when I come with my project, that it's looked into fairly. That's the thing that I'm looking for, fairness, is to look at my program that I want for these children. Too many times it's looked at Benton Harbor as a failure. But I want to show you that Benton Harbor's got some beautiful youngsters here. They just need someone to love them and let you know that they're concerned about you. So that's why I put myself out there and really push for the program that I have, because I know there's big things can happen for these youngsters. They just need to know that somebody loves them and really cares. And I want everyone to feel that energy that I have for that. I don't have any time to waste. I'm on up in my years. And I want to make these last years that I have, if I have them, to mean something.
To count.
Yes.
Ashe.
Okay, Miss Adams has been here 20 years.
23.
23 along with myself off and on. And this board was put together to spur development in the city of Benton Harbor. And with Act 381, whatever the act says, that we can work within that act to make a difference for the people in the city of Benton Harbor and all other entities that can help Benton Harbor with their development. This board cannot do everything for everybody, but what's in the act and what we can do, we will do. And we have done it, that's not true, Ms. Adams? We have tried to do it. We are not concerned if they're young children, we're not concerned if they're old, we're not concerned if they're black, we're not concerned if they're white, red, yellow, or green. Whatever the act say, and when they come and they fit in with the Act 381 that we can help, we're here to help everybody. This city and no other city is an entity by itself. It must have help. We've got to have help from other people, from other coalitions, from other people that comes in here. And we have to do things to say, we're here to attract you, to be able to offer you an opportunity so you'll want to come to this city and to develop in this city. And so if anything that you do, I do, or this one do, or somebody else do, if it fits within the guidelines of Act 381, we'll be glad, go all the way out to help you. And we try to be transparency. You can ask as many questions as you want to ask. I don't think we stop you. You can talk as long as you want to talk. We got a good time. We have not stopped you at that. We haven't stopped anybody. Jeez. So we try to keep it transparency. We don't have nothing to hide. It's all in the books and records. And this one sitting up here, Mark, he don't have nowhere to go. He ain't retiring to leave this city. I don't know what he's trying to do. So he's I don't know what's wrong with him. I'm gonna talk to you and see what you can do with him, because he just made up something that I'm just getting ready to retire. We ain't going nowhere but to go November. He's gonna go shooting some deer or something. As far as he gets.
He's a great guy, valuable.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You need somebody that can get on board with you, because you got a lot of projects that's coming out.
Yes.
And you've been working with a lot of projects, and I want some of your input to see when you go over some of these things, because Ms. Adams been working too long. Somebody needs to come in and know her vision. You've had a vision for a long time. You know that.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but what we've tried EPA, we've tried several times to get some training. We wrote several grants, and you've been up to Washington a couple of times to try to get these grants. So don't say, we have tried every way we can. So if anybody comes here and want to do business with the Brownfield, you're not the only one that's not getting paid. None of us do. But we do get paid. I feel real good about it. I'm learning every day. I see things happening. I see the city growing. I learn from people. I get their knowledge. I learned from Mr. Prairie how he done beautified some stuff in our community and appreciate that. I learned how that building down on the corner was going to be knocked down, and we tried to work to save it. And it was just beautiful. And it's little less time that I'll sit here and see how we develop. I think our commissioner is doing a beautiful job. It takes time. This thing was 1970, 60, 69. In the 70s, it fell down. So that's been years. It ain't gonna come back tomorrow. It's gonna take time to develop this, and we have to work to do it.
I think you misunderstood me. I wasn't
Who was
talking,
that talking?
you, I wasn't talking, I wasn't talking about getting paid from coming in here. I'm talking about the program that I put together, gardening
Yeah.
and giving the
I'm not
process
talking about
away.
you.
That's what I was talking about.
But
I
I'm just saying,
volunteered for you.
right, so that's it.
Madam,
Oh, I don't open up the can of worms, everybody wanna talk now.
No, no, no.
Everybody wanna talk.
it's
Okay.
something that I think we neglected, that I think we should have made mention because it's coming up and it's coming up fast, our budget.
What, yeah,
I'm not sure if you will still be here, but do we still have that money set aside for, the travel to Manchester?
mm-hmm,
It was never spent.
Exactly, so we still have it.
we still have.
Okay, can we make some arrangements? There's a couple of, school, affiliated people that would like to take that trip. And it doesn't need to be all of us. I'll give my seat up. But this needs to happen because we have a group, a age group within our community that's missing out on a career or being presented with some type of training to put them on the right path.
Mr. Nye needs to go, and Miss Henry.
One of the things that
I've been
I
there
can
already.
feel
You
that
saw
made
what
me,
Bidwell,
one of the things, I don't need training for my area. Manchester Bidwell is coming in to train people.
No, they're not. They're
No.
coming in to take those that have the expertise in their field and strengthen what we have. No, they're not doing that.
They're not a training program.
no. What you need to see is how to build coalitions. This board cannot do it. You have to see how they build coalitions to make it hard. If this one's got something that they can help with the different funding. She knows the program of what they need.
Yeah, and they're not coming in here taking over
No, they're not
nothing,
coming.
trust me.
Okay.
I had,
Go ahead, Mr. Clark.
this is my last one.
Go ahead.
Can't fear it.
Last meeting I attended, we were talking about, forming some type of subcommittee or something for your patient, for someone to take over once you retire.
Yes.
Did y'all meet yet?
Yes, that committee met and developed a request for proposals and qualifications and proposals. And those were due today, and I have two of them. Before you stepped in, we talked about this. Two of them have been received, and the committee will be evaluating those between now and your next meeting. The committee members are Ms. Warren, Mr. Little, and Mr. Davis Yates.
Well,
Where are they from?
we probably need someone else.
I haven't, one of them, I don't recognize the handwritten return address. The other one I do recognize as being a firm that I've dealt with in the past.
I mean, from here, or is it from cross country?
One of them, the one on the top appears to be a firm that's located out of Grand Rapids in Kalamazoo, and the other one is Benton Harbor return address.
What is the name of that firm?
Which one?
The one that you were there with?
Fishbeck.
Yeah, this probably brought that on.
I will not be opening these though until the committee convenes. But
Okay,
Madam,
You want
I'm
to
sorry.
put another person on it, how you want to deal with it? Or wait and see what's going on?
I think you need to probably wait and see what happens. I'll reach out to Mr. Davis Yates and see if he's sincere. If not, then you can appoint another member. But Madam Chair, I wanted to mention for everybody's benefit that particularly some of the folks here behind me, that Santana Warren, a member of your legislative committee, the city's legislative committee, is going to be making a presentation to that committee in the month of April, talking about the status of your Brownfield Redevelopment Authority and its background and what it's accomplished. And I think you're going to find, those of you who do attend that meeting, you're going to find it to be a very informative session. And she's going to talk about the investments that have been made since this authority was formed, and the jobs that have been created since this authority was formed, and the number of square footage that have been redeveloped or developed as a result of this entity helping to facilitate entities like Prairie Real Estate Group, just to pick one. And those of you who can attend, I believe that is in the month of April. I don't know what date that committee meets,
First Wednesday.
first Wednesday.
Yeah.
That's when she's going to be making the presentation. So
Hmm.
it's coming up real quick.
Hmm.
Where will that be held?
It'll be held right here, right here.
You
And, and one last comment. Some of the things that she may touch on, that those of you who have been here for a long time recall, are things like the vision that this body demonstrated for projects that ultimately turned into the likes of Harbor Shores. Years before anybody ever called it Harbor Shores or got involved with it, River Run, you had identified properties in that area as being potentially redevelopable and put them in your brownfield plan before the county ever got a hold of this, before Cornerstone ever came up. And I can't say that you were a visionary that preceded the likes of Mr. Little, but not long after Mr. Little envisioned the Ox Creek Corridor project in his former life here, this authority, back as far as 2003, set a brownfield area in that area and talked about, and I read it just the other day on the document you had created, talked about a trail system along Ox Creek. So congrats to you. And again, look forward to what Santana Warren has to say to the legislative committee. Thank you.
Just quickly, Mark, what you share with us, you'll make sure that we get it. That one
Absolutely.
paragraph, as well as that document that came down from the government.
I will.
Thank you.
I'll
Appreciate
email it out tomorrow
Appreciate
to all of you.
I have this ready, Mark.
Mr. Little and Mr. Prairie,
Just,
how is that meets and them other properties gonna affect your development around there? Have you been in? with them?
well, I'll say this, if Meeks continues to be the eyesore and the environmental problem that it is, it'll be a drag on the situation.
That's
Now,
what I-
other than that, he has a right to remain there. We're not trying to kick him out.
Have you been talking to him?
Yes, I've got a great relationship.
Yeah,
They do work for us. We're neighbors. We have no problem. I'm happy to buy his property if he's willing to sell it.
That's up to him. I just
okay.
I just thought that corridor along across there with all those other.
Yeah, I
properties.
think we've got commercial property that is all around it.
Yeah.
From time to time, it causes us a little bit of aggravation for a number of different reasons because we have to access our building. The problem is not with us, it's the neighbors across the street that don't like looking at what they're seeing
Yeah, I
and
know.
what goes on there. Just
You know
have an
what's,
issue.
what's strange about that?
May I interrupt for a quick second?
Just one, we'll let you speak.
Yeah, thank you.
If anybody else, we're gonna do something a little different now. We're gonna let him speak. If we let you speak, if anybody else wanna speak, we'll let y'all speak.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is only a one-time thing and don't think it's gonna happen.
I would just like to say that
Go
we
ahead.
are having a very hard time staffing. We've been hiring, we hired from Ben Harbor gladly.
Go ahead.
If you'd like to have a conversation with me, happy to have it any time, but nevertheless, we are hiring.
Uh-huh.
And we would welcome applications. We have plenty of positions that we need for working on these properties as well as other things to do. So if anybody is aware of anybody looking for a job, please feel free to send them to us.
Anything else?
No, that's all. I just want to say that we would be really, really pleased to be
You hear
fully
that,
staffed.
Mr. Little? Y'all hear that?
Starting pay,
We start based on qualifications between 15 and 22.
And what was that business?
I'm sorry?
What is the business?
Business is real estate development. So this would be work that involves any kind of technical work in the field. So property maintenance, landscaping, demolition, which is what we're talking about here today, recycling and salvaging of materials. We've got property management inside of buildings that would be mechanical, electrical, and plumbing. Listen, we will hire and train, but they have to have attitude that is commensurate with a good work ethic. And we're more than willing to take somebody and give them the skills that they need, as long as they're capable of showing up to work on time and having the right attitude. So they don't have to be experienced.
I was asking
Just a moment.
merely to the
Now, wait a minute.
location.
Now, you finished, Mr. Prairie?
Yes,
Okay,
thank you.
Commissioner, you ready?
I was still talking to you, asking you the location when I say what is the business, where is it located?
You'd be, our staff works on all our properties throughout northern Berrien County.
But where would they put in an application?
Oh, thank you. 301 12th Street. Trevor will give you anybody a card that needs it.
This young man sits in a lot of our meetings.
And it's a lot of hardworking people in Benton Harbor.
Yeah.
Work there.
And I've actually
With
seen a
love.
lot of Benton
I've
Harbor
been in my
people
job
working.
29 years since I was
Yeah,
24.
and thank you for that.
Yeah,
Thank
no,
you.
you're welcome.
Thank you, and they clean up real good, the lots. There's so many more though that need it. It don't belong to you, but
I don't have
Thank
nothing
you.
else to
Thank
say.
you,
I asked you.
Okay, I was just giving you opportunity if you wanted to have some, because I gave you opportunity. All right, Commissioner.
I'm gonna ask the chair, this is not the first time I've asked the chair, and I don't always make it to the Brownfield meeting, but I know that we got it on YouTube. But for us to sit here with nothing but agenda and nothing else about our business, we're the citizens of Benton Harbor. This is all about our business. So for us to sit in this meeting for an hour and not have anything other than your agenda,
it's public comment right in.
and I'm asking you another question. Is all of that what Mr. Is all of that put on YouTube and our website where people can go and get that kind of information?
We have a page.
Okay, I don't know the city's format and what they do for all these boards. I'm not privy to that. But whatever is there and whatever that they're allowed to put, I'm sure we will put it up there. We're not trying to be this, not to have it up there. But I don't think all of our information that we can do in every meeting that goes up there. But if we can, and whatever you're looking for, we can. Now, you saying you want a packet, you need a pack just like what we have.
I just think it's just more inclusive if you allow citizens to come in and be privy to what you're talking about. And they won't, because there's only one time that you get to ask. This is not usual that you have a second opportunity, but if the information is there, then they can follow.
And do they do that at the city commission meeting? Give you
Absolutely.
You give everything in the pack. Everybody gets.
If they ask for it, absolutely, because it's the people's business.
Okay, we're not trying to hide.
It's just the people's business, and I'm just trying to make sure
Yeah.
that as we come here, you can share as much information as possible. It's
So-
really important to us as citizens, not as a commissioner, but a citizen.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So, what do you think about it?
Well, to answer the question is, you're on YouTube right now,
Yeah, we are.
and all of these meetings are filmed. At least the intent is to get all of the meetings filmed.
Now they are.
And now that we have all the IT, thank you, city commissioners. The agendas are also posted on the city's website, and the minutes are posted on the city's website. Now, the entire agenda packets are not typically posted on the city's website.
Are the
And
entire the package for the city posted on the city's website?
I didn't think so, nor are the
Do
city.
you have a pack every day, when they come in for city hall meeting? Do they get a pack of all the resolutions and things that's going on for all the citizens?
They put a certain number of them on the
On the
calendar
table?
that people can pick
Yeah,
up,
okay.
but it's probably
Can you run
not
a few of
always
them?
everybody.
And put them on the table?
I'll work with the city clerk and see what she would advise.
She'll take care of it.
And I say that because I've attended city commission meetings and I didn't get a whole packet like all of the city commissioners did. So I don't know that that's,
Well, this is a
Pertinent.
new day.
Amen. Let's see, we're trying to see what the citizens want here.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I asked in times past if in fact, the packet that we get, that it would be emailed to at least every elected official. Because I think it's very important that what we do on this end, it actually has to go before the commission for approval when a development agreement is entered and it comes back to us. Am I right?
no,
Okay, so that's not happening?
But I
No,
think
you're-
she's
you're
talking
incorrect.
about- She's talking about citizens.
No, I'm talking about the elected officials.
Yeah.
Because I've been big in the elected officials ever since I've been down here to please come and engage.
Uh-huh,
And if they have questions, they can always ask them. Now,
yes,
I'm gonna always be open, honest, and
Right,
find
right.
the answer. And make sure that it's the correct answer.
but, and it is something she's bringing up. If citizens come and if they want to know what's going on, I agree, commissioners might need to know a little bit more.
Yeah.
But she's talking in regards to citizens. We should have something for them that they just wouldn't have to sit through the meeting and not know nothing that's going on. So we have a couple of packages.
We have agendas.
Yeah, but if you have, she wants to know if we have a little pack like this, a couple of them, just like, you said, to see how that works. And if they still stay there, 2 or 3 months, then we won't need them no more, but we can try. It ain't gonna hurt you to get with the clerk, it ain't nothing but a little paper.
Yeah.
We'll try. Okay?
Okay.
Try to do that.
Transparency.
Next.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Uh-huh.
I was on a Zoom call a while back, and I was asking information about how, the Brownfield Development Authority works, and if they exclude applications from Benton Harbor area schools. I know that they do help with developments. I was wondering if they excluded Benton Harbor area schools from applying, and I was told that they don't exclude Benton Harbor area schools. Benton Harbor area schools had not applied. And then I asked for a meeting with Mr. Florian, and I put my information in the chat. I haven't had that meeting yet, and I was wondering, if he's not retiring too soon, if I could have, still have that meeting with him.
Do we have that clean one?
We haven't had a Zoom meeting for 2 years, so this goes
No,
back
she,
quite
now,
some,
It
quite
may
some
have been
time.
something else.
it's not on our Zoom, she just saw on the Zoom.
But certainly, I'd be happy to meet with you and clarify what it is you're asking for. Because it sounds like, maybe I'm wrong, but it sounds like you're looking for financial assistance.
I'm wanting to know a little bit more about the program, how it works, how, what type of funds you've been dispersing, and if there is a process in which Benton Harbor area schools can participate or apply for supports for their dilapidated buildings, as you may have helped others. So I'm just hoping to have a conversation to get more information.
What you just explained earlier, Mark, if they do that, might be something they have to do.
You
Thank
know
so much.
what the changes that just came down,
That's what I
those
was
changes, that page that I
saying. Might be able to
requested,
help her.
I'll make sure that she gets one. But she just asked a question that makes me ask this. Prior to that coming down, with things just as they are, because they haven't been wrote in stone yet. Say the school has these old broilers, and we know broilers are wrapped with asbestos to keep stuff from burning. Could the school actually enter into an agreement? Can Benton Harbor area schools enter into an agreement with Benton Harbor Brownfield?
You're asking, Madam Chair, you're asking a hypothetical, and I suppose that hypothetically they could enter into an agreement, but the schools don't pay any taxes, so you're never going to get your money back.
Wait a minute,
And
they don't pay
most of
taxes.
those asbestos-related issues, just to pick your example, have been addressed in years past as part of the HERA program that came about in the late 80s, early 1990s.
Wait a minute, you say the schools don't pay taxes. So what we been releasing taxes? Okay, I got some more work
They
to
don't
do.
pay taxes.
I thought that Brownfield pulled some taxes from the school and library. None?
You can't give her that.
We let out a lot of
None from the
money.
library?
See
That
if she
was
can
on
get
the
that.
ballot.
Give her
As
that
an elected
clean one.
official, we approve a lot of money
I
to
will.
be releasing the taxes to schools.
Anybody have anything else that they'd like to
I
say?
got my work to do. Mr. Little, let's
Mr. Little?
I'd just like to take the opportunity on behalf of the city administration to say thank you to everybody in the room for what you do. I know you're not getting any big paychecks for it. You don't always have to agree, but you're sticking it out, you're working at it, and it's making a difference.
Yeah.
And I especially want to say thanks to Mr. Florian, for the job that he has done and is doing.
And he's
And
going
all
to
the
do.
things that he's doing to help the city. And, the, same to Mr. Clovis and his Prairie Real Estate Group. I just think every so often somebody needs to say that.
And all these board members that come out,
Absolutely.
all these board members.
Hey, does anything change that we can give ourselves a stipend or something?
That's not
Heard
it,
you
that's not
try.
in it, that's not in it.
Heard you
If it
try.
was, if it was, we go for it.
Hey,
They-
hey.
They just take money, they don't give money.
Okay,
Yeah.
heard you try.
Hear nothing else, anybody else hear anything, have anything else, to hear nothing? We'll see that he gets you
Oh.
that pack, 381 pack.
I'm sorry,
We'll see
ma'am.
that he gets you that 381 pack.
Thank
So
you
that
so
you
much.
can read that, and then what's not on the website, we'll try to do that, cause we all gotta work together in this community to make it happen. I would agree, thank you so much. Now, okay, if you hear nothing else, motion to adjourn, thank you. Motion adjourned. All right, now, where is this right here I have to sign? You sign it?
No, I didn't get it.
That was sitting with him, so you can, some of the checks that you signed.
Yeah, so you-
can see that.
Yeah.